Howdy, folks. Your host, Double J, back here, host of Operation GCD, along with my co-host, Nick of the Occult Rejects. Looking real magical. Nick, greetings, sir. How you doing?
Good. How are you? I'm doing very well tonight. Thank you very much. Feeling very magical.
Magical Fridays.
Yes.
And joining us as a guest here, we got Jules from the host of the GreyPill podcast. Jules,
what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Frigg's Day, or whatever it's called.
Well, we like to call it Fridays, like in a haze, because we're both
Fridays.
Prolific smokers.
I see your title now. Okay,
we're going to smoke ourselves into oblivion.
Right. So Jules, the host of the GreyPill podcast.
Yeah, man.
What do you do there? What do you like to get into on the GreyPill podcast? Well, thanks for joining us, by the way, because I just got introduced to your podcast and your Twixter, and you have some exciting topics I am looking forward to hearing about. But definitely thanks for joining us.
No, I'm happy to be here, dude. He's cracking me up with that hood. Man. I'm the host of the GreyPill podcast. There's a few sub shows that I do under that main title. GreyPill is really just some deep dives on the esoteric, certain conspiracies. I'll just hang out with my audience and for a few hours and we'll do some deep dives on some stuff. If I have anyone on for an interview, I also have Cryptid Watch that I do every other Sunday with my co-host Conspiracy Extremist. I think I told you before we started.
Conspiracy Extremist, huh? That's a good name.
Yeah, no, great name. Great dude. But we are kind of running low on cryptid videos. So I don't know. We may have to try and stock up on some and come
you have a suggestion for Thirsty Thursdays, maybe?
Dude, I used to do Thirsty Thursdays live streams.
So this was an actual thing. Okay.
Yeah. It's funny you bring that up. So I usually stream on the weekends. I have a show I produce every Tuesday, Already Dead, with Jose Galison and Austin Picard. What's up? There's my audience. What's up, guys? All the Greypists are here. And then I told y'all about the Elohim etymology that I do with my co-host Adrian West.
And that's a regular show, Elohim etymology?
We haven't done one. We did one last week. We finished up talking about Marduk, part 3. We're doing one in the morning. I believe either in the morning or afternoon. I'll let everyone know. But Thoth, Hermes part 2.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so you guys just kind of go over the mythology and the character bases of these things?
Basically, yeah. We just have fun with it, bro.
I like it.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that same regard? What are your thoughts on? And I already got your shows, your links in the show notes.
Right on.
Thanks, man. Folks to find these episodes you're discussing here. But what are your thoughts on the subject of somebody like Akhenaten, who's a prominent figure in occult societies, especially things like Rosicrucianism? And the idea that he was Moses, because that's kind of what you're going at with this Elohim etymology, right? Is these characters are going by different names, but playing the same role.
That's the same guy from Egypt, right?
Yeah. So Akhenaten, he's the guy that brought in monotheism and was booted out of Egypt in the same capacity.
I didn't know that
Moses was.
See, you're teaching me something new.
The prolific kid diddler, what's his name? I've forgot his name now. Oh, Freud. Sigmund Freud. Yeah, right. The prolific kid diddler Sigmund Freud and part-time psychoanalyst. He wrote a book about Moses and I believe it was him, but about Moses and Akhenaten being the same character. But along the lines of what you're saying, a study of the etymology and the characteristics of these folks.
Oh, absolutely, dude. You can trace a lot of these you can kind of trace them back through definitely through the etymology, but through all these stories as well, right?
Sure.
There's we know that Moses lived in the land of Kim, also known as Egypt, where alchemy comes from. So there's theories of him being an alchemist. There's a lot of stuff to get into there. But yeah, dude, that's something. Like I said, it's one of the first things that made me want to start podcasting, because I had been doing research for so long. and driving my fucking wife crazy. God bless her. And
What, just giving her a bunch of ear beatings about all the stuff you've been researching?
And she loves it. She's the one that first kind of woke me up back in 2012. Before she got pregnant with our son. She showed me Bohemian Grove, and it just picked up from there.
Interesting. So you do some parapolitics, some crypto stuff, and some interesting studies of biblical characters and Elohim etymology. Is that a good encapsulation of the GreyPill podcast?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Also do sound science. Paranoid American. We have a show called Sound Science that we have certain people on, and we just kind of talk about music, and we listen to music.
Oh.
It's fun. Actually, we have a special guest coming on soon, so everybody stay tuned for that. That's not a show that I do every week. It's something that we can kind of knock a few out whenever we get
routine series.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Nick just did a good show on kind of cymatics, which I think there's a lot to that subject. I listened to that there in the Occult Rejects, Nick. That was a good show that y'all did. You and Headless that did the other night.
What's that guy's name?
On sound?
Yeah, all the sound, the cymatics, the frequencies.
Dude,
there's a lot to be said there that's often ignored in those areas.
Hans.
Utter?
I think there's a sick video on Cymatics, dude. The aesthetic of it's awesome too. Let's see who that guy is.
You can see the results of the physical changes in substances with the different frequencies and sounds that, obviously this has to have an impact on, maybe not the same impact, but it has to have some impact on our biological systems in a similar capacity. You see those sand, they put the sand on a table and then they change the frequencies.
Yes. That's exactly who I was talking about.
Okay.
Man, let me scroll down and see. Yeah. Hans Jennings. Hans Jennings. Yeah. That's how I first kind of checked that out. And when you look back, I mean, dude, everything is made of energy, right? And everything does give off a certain vibration. It's just fact. And
absolutely.
So, the forming of matter through sound. There's a lot of ancient creation myths that actually kind of, in a way, describe I think it was the Aborigines of Australia, which you hear this from other cultures, but they talk about the earth being created in 3 songs or 3. There's also 3 hums, right?
Or the fact, or isn't it God speaking matter into existence or something like that?
Yeah, God's speaking it into creation.
There we go.
Both
that's a great point.
And esoterically, right?
Sure.
Yeah. But a lot of stuff y'all probably talk about on the Occult Rejects. Nick actually came on my show 2 weeks ago, bro?
Yes.
He did.
I was going to ask you, but
he didn't have the executioner's hood on, but dude, it's a banger, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a really good time.
It's one of my most played episodes. I'm pretty sure.
What did y'all get into on that conversation?
Well, we kind of talked about the eclipse and the black sun and how that
magic
connection to your eye, magic.
Yeah.
Got into Crowley a little bit, dude. We got into a lot of shit.
This hood actually is from a Crowley supposed. I don't think he started it, but it's an Astrum Argentum hood. It's actually one of his secret society.
That's the one that crazy alien Brazilian cult was wearing in the background of that one photograph, right?
Yeah. Yo, we got to cover that. We
do it. We always say that too.
We needed to tell you that. We have to cover that soon.
We routinely cover ancient alien cargo cults as one of the subjects that we like to do, specifically related to crimes and stuff. For example, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but Wesley Snipes, the Hollywood actor, financed a ancient alien cargo cult that was built on a mound with full-blown Egyptian pyramids with all of the money from the Blade series that he did.
Actually, I mean that
makes a lot of sense to you.
Think of Wesley Snipes doing that,
right?
Dude.
Well, so they threw the cult leader in prison for child sex trafficking. Snipes was the financier. He went to prison for tax evasion. But so we talk about all these crimes and cult stuff, and there's just one really interesting one out of Brazil. And Nick's looking at a photograph of it one day and sees that hood up, and it's just an odd intersection of these satanic black, ceremonial black magic cults, aliens, these ancient alien cargo cult concepts. They all seem to match together with these different groups and cults. And I thought it was mainly Western kind of Anglo-American stuff, but you got folks in Brazil doing this stuff too.
Yeah, you find a lot of this in every culture, dude. That's crazy about the cargo cults. It's like if you see these tribes that are uncontacted by anyone.
Sure, so you're familiar with the concepts.
Yeah,
Nice.
they have all these kind of idols made, planes and stick men, white men, obviously. And so when they see a plane, then they think these people are here to save us, or these people are here to gift us with something.
Right.
If that's like food or knowledge, technology, you know what I mean? So
That's exactly what's going on. That's a good summary you got there. Yeah, so it's my position that I assert that we live in a society run by ancient alien cargo cultists. So we're being forced to subscribe to various ideals that are completely preposterous, like the ones you just described. Where these as a relative example, you have the folks there in like a Polynesian island building these wooden airplanes and doing these rituals and dances and making a whole religion around G.I. Joe and the return of G.I. Joe and these cargo things that were, the airlifts down on these islands, or suddenly they got food and stuff they'd never even seen before. It was magic. It came from the skies. God gave it to them. So in that same regard, we live amongst society that is run by ancient alien cargo cultists. That's my position. So they force society into these weird ideals because they're trying to force, these cargo cult concepts that they're not rooted in anything reasonable or actual, but rooted in someone's, perverted fantasies.
Yeah, dude, they're ancient trust fund dorks. That's what my buddy John Lee Chaubeck calls them.
I like your buddy John Lee Chaubeck and his name too as well. That's
yeah, man. Shout out John Lee, dude. So, I mean, when you look at what's happening, our reality is being manipulated daily, and you can feel it in the atmosphere. You can feel it at the energy compared to how, like, I'm sure it was still pretty fucked when we were younger, but I don't know, man, this world, and the people who run it, it's people. And I guess we're going to get into talking about what's up.
May I interject real quick? What you said, as far as when were you born, you were saying, you weren't sure how long ago this was fucked up, but like, were you born in the 80s? I presume, like mid late 80s,
early 90s.
Okay, close.
Well,
then,
I'm sure since
so you missed out on the cocaine fueled 80s. They were far more productive than the heroin fueled 90s.
Yeah, didn't really miss out on that, dude. That's I mean,
I'm saying
a kid,
as far as witnessing America being productive during that time, right?
Oh yeah,
seemed to be a lot more productivity. A lot of things got done from
the 90s till now. Fuck yeah, dude. This has been happening for a very, very long time, but it seems, especially in the last 5 years, that a lot of people have been thrust into this state of consciousness now, where everyone's kind of forced to kind of wake up. Yeah.
I mean, if they're not going to do it, the world will indeed force them. The universe, that is.
It's not too comfortable, but
yeah, I'm indifferent about a lot of things going on in society right now, as far as the way people act about things. Especially when I see hospitals reinstituting mask policies. I saw some buffoons wearing masks today and outside. I was like, what are you people doing? 60 degrees outside. What are you people doing?
Yeah, dude. There's a guy that works with me that when he walks in, he puts it on at his car. And he's a great guy too. So it's like, man, I don't want to be a dick, but bro.
Right. At least he doesn't wear it. At least he doesn't wear it in his car by himself, right? I guess that's a positive aspect.
I don't know. He may have had the mask on in his car and then got out to fucking put his jacket on, and it's like, bro, you're already breathing the air. Like, I don't know, man.
You should show him one of Nick's masks to hook him up with one of those. That'll save him from all sorts of magical stuff.
Oh man, Nick would probably scare the shit out of people that lived in my city.
That's a great description
I live
there,
in
Joey.
Mississippi, so I don't know.
I mean, this
I probably couldn't rock
in
the
different
hood.
ways. So I mean, I could see it maybe scaring people.
I would say you're in Mississippi. Yeah, Mississippi and hoods don't go well, do they?
No,
I wouldn't even try to put it on. Fuck no.
Even the black hood. I don't
think it matters what kind of.
I'll be playing the hangman if I put that shit on over there.
Oh man,
you go there with an LGBTQ rainbow painted hood, and I mean that might even get you hung up quicker. I don't know,
man. There's probably a lot of those here too. Unfortunately, sipping on. What's up? Oh shit, he's from Mississippi too. What's up, bro?
Mississippi Bernie, Yeah. In regards to a lot of, I'm presuming I didn't hear y'all's conversation, you and Nick, but I have enjoyed Nick's presentations there on the eye and magic, and in regards to perspectives and folks' perspectives, I think, and why they don't shift perspectives. I often wonder if there's not an epicenter of some sort of activity going on there with some sort of magical sense, almost like a spell.
Yeah. Chaos magic, right? Which we were talking about Crowley as well. He was kind of one of those top chaos magicians.
Yeah, sure. Seems to be the flavor of magic that the nefarious folks were into.
Yeah, and that goes back to John Dee and Edward Kelly talking to fallen Elohim and participating in alchemical magic. There's many forms of magic that I'm sure are used in this realm daily, right? So it can't. I don't know how much of a good thing it could be, especially for us, because like I said, we're all made out of energy. So whatever's being put out there, even if people don't believe in these rituals, guess what? They're fucking happening. So it's conjuring up something. And I don't know what. I have ideas of what I think we all do, but
demons.
Oh yeah, man. You could say demons. People
demons are aliens, in my opinion.
As many things. Right. That's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
They're demons. They're more interdimensional than physical, right?
There you go.
That's kind of what I've come to conclusion about.
Are you familiar with the work of John Keel?
John Keel, I've heard the name.
He's kind of the pioneer of that ultra terrestrial hypothesis.
Really?
Yeah. He wrote the Mothman prophecies.
Okay,
and
that's why his name sounds familiar. I
very prominent.
Check out some of his stuff.
Oh yeah, I highly recommend his. You can find some of his lectures there in the 90s and 2000s before he passed. But he was one of the lead if you're into the cryptozoology stuff. I mean, he was one of the lead Fortean guys for many years, right? Carrying on the concepts of Charles Fort there.
Yeah, we love cryptids. Over at GreyPill. I actually talked to this security guard today while I was working. We basically he brought up Memphis, and I was like, yeah, well, because he had brought up the giant pyramid, and I was like, well, that's weird that it's there at all, even though it's a Bass Pro Shop, because you think about Memphis, and that was the capital of Egypt.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it could definitely mean something. And so then
they're on the same parallel too, aren't they? Or something, I believe. Is there another connection there? Geographically,
it wouldn't surprise me if it was on the 33rd parallel. It may not be though, but
There's some geographical relationship there between those pyramids.
There's probably a ley line there. Yeah,
that could be.
Yeah, and so then you start talking about Bigfoot, and we got into interdimensional Bigfoot, and that they may be children of what you would call the Nephilim.
So you think, okay, I like it. So that's where you're at with Bigfoots. Is they're part of the interdimensional family of Nephilim folk?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because I mean, I think this day and age, the idea that Bigfoot's a flesh and blood creature, like an ape or something like that, I think that's largely been perpetrated by the CIA, right? The CIA is out there doing them footprints up there before, the years preceding the Robertson Gimlin footage in the same area, right? Like that's a whole concept the CIA was doing overseas at that same time in the Phoenix program. I know Nick's covered some of that stuff with Lansdale.
He's over there. Gang signs.
Yeah. So that's the same stuff going on. Like they brought the serial killers from the Phoenix program home. They brought the psychological operations home, because the Bigfoot thing happened at the same time. I believe it was the Tet Offensive, which was a pretty monumental event there in the Vietnam War, where hundreds of villagers, women and children were massacred.
Where was that?
Vietnam. It was I believe that was going on at the same time that suddenly this Bigfoot video was discovered, right? The Patterson Gimlin footage, right? As a great distraction, right?
Right.
Which is again what they were doing with these same things. So Lansdale and Michael Aquino, prominent Satanists,
Temple of Set,
weird eyebrow fucker,
Temple of Set, yeah, man,
exactly. Psychological Green Beret, psychological warfare guy for the Army. He very prominent dude in that culture.
He's a weird fuck, man.
Yeah, for sure.
But holds high rank in the military. Yeah. Wow.
So they're doing those psychological operations overseas, Philippines, Laos, Cambodia, where they're weaponizing the folklore of those cultures. So if you think about the Patterson Gimlin footage, I think that's the weaponized folklore in American culture to then suddenly distract. I mean, people are still dissecting that video today. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, because he asked me, he was like, why haven't people found any bones? I'm just like, well, if they're interdimensional, then I mean, and he was like, oh wow, he didn't even think about that.
No, I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think it's a great thought. I mean, this Nephilim stuff is something I've maybe come across before. I'm not too versed in, but
Nephilim shit, dude.
Nephilim shit, but I like it. No, I mean, I like it
on my show.
I think it's a better explanation than an ape. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. The Nephilim had kids, and their kids had kids. So what would those and their parents, the fallen watchers, they had sex, and this some people interpret to be like maybe gene splicing, like just mixing their DNA with all these different creatures, birds, fish. They're sucking fish off. A whole bunch of shit, dude.
Are they eating the cats and eating the dogs too?
They're fucking that. They're fucking the cats and fucking the dogs.
The cats,
and then probably I don't know, maybe eating them. It only really discusses them needing in the Sumerian story of them needing gold, which I've interpreted as the manna of heaven, perhaps.
Okay.
Mono-atomic gold, mono. Yep. I don't know. It's very similar. And in the Sumerian, the little hieroglyphics, I guess they're cuneiform.
Right.
They base
their lines.
Well, there's like these, the fucking carvings of them, and they all usually have, an eagle's helmet on, which. Oh. The eagle represented a certain side of that certain pantheon. It's represented in almost every pantheon and in every mystery school. It's interpreted as the eagle, but it's really the phoenix. And I'm sure Nick knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's the phoenix. So it's not Horus then as the eagle. It's representative of the phoenix.
Well, Horus was was he an eagle or was he a hawk? Because Ra.
Oh, you're right. He was a hawk. You're right.
A hawk too.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm not well versed in my my birds.
Dude, you're good,
my
bro.
my ornithological
I'm not a big fan of
studies.
not a big fan of birds, even though in the past year I've had owls. Like I'll be driving and owls will swoop down in front of me, and apparently that's a sign as well.
I don't know if I mentioned this on the show to you, Jules, and I don't know. Maybe JJ might have actually heard this, but
falcon.
Something interesting about birds, and I have actually wondered if this is why sometimes they're used for occult symbolism. First off, you just mentioned owl, and the owl can actually see in ultraviolet. It can see in UV, and so can reindeer, which is, I don't know. But, birds actually do see differently than people, and they can actually, they see by hearing as well. Like there's a study that is known that they're actually hearing the sounds from the sun when it's rising in the morning. And when they're doing their morning chorus, they're actually making the sounds back that they're hearing from the sun.
Oh.
So if you want to get like into occultism and occult science, stuff like that with birds, especially when it comes to the eyes and that they can see other parts of reality that we can't.
Yeah.
I just do wonder if there is something behind it. So as boring as they may be, they might have some.
Dude, owls are
things
beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
They're beautiful birds. They're terrifying at the same time. Maybe why they represent wisdom, right?
Sure.
Minerva. But also you could attribute the owl to Moloch, right?
So oftentimes attributed to, right?
What if Moloch was just a fucking owl man?
From the Watchmen comic?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
I like these ideas of these different hybrids. I mean, this is what science is doing today, right? Like we're not living in the most advanced era of humanity. That's for damn certain. That's evidenced by the architecture and things you find around the earth.
Yeah. You got me started on cryptids. So
I like it. I like it, man. I like it.
From there.
No, it's an interesting thought because, I mean, if these watchers and the Nephilim did exist, and then they would seemingly procreate to continue their existence and so on and so forth. So it seems like there would be, descendants today from that branch of, whatever you want to call it, half humanity, I guess.
Absolutely, dude. Definitely. And I mean, that's been spread over time. Who knows how many people have that DNA in them? They're not going to show you on fucking 20. They're not going to show you on like, what's it called?
23andMe. They got like your 85%
ancestry. They're not going to show you that shit on there. They'll show you that you have Neanderthal in you, but not
right. Which I mean, again, like so. I don't even know how they determine some of that stuff. Like, where are they getting this Neanderthal stuff? Like, there's so much stuff about science. I don't even try to question too much because it just would occupy too much of my time. Like, for example, Nick, who asked the birds how they sung and chirped? Like, did the birds write down like a questionnaire, like we fucking sing at the sun? You know what I mean? Like, I oftentimes wonder how science concludes these things. I'm sure there's some mechanism, right? I'm just being facetious, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, how do we know reindeer see in ultraviolets, right? Did someone ask a reindeer? Like, Rudolph's like, yeah, do I see ultraviolet stuff?
Well, the theory on the reindeer is, especially the ones in the North Pole, is that they're always like eating mushrooms and shit. You got people drinking reindeer piss, shamans.
Sure.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You know what else? Just real quick, I want to add these in. Scorpions, which is a huge occult symbolism, that sees ultraviolet light as well. And there was and there was something else that I thought. Oh, and another symbol, butterflies. That's always huge in occult symbolism. Butterflies, scorpions, birds, owls, bees see ultraviolet light as well.
Dude, you're gonna make me break out my occult symbolism, and I did like 6-7 episodes on this Manly Palmer Hall little book. Yeah.
Which book? Secret Destiny of America? What are we talking here?
It's stuff you can find in Secret Teachings, but it's just a little don't know what you.
He's a very prominent figure. He's considered a scholar amongst a lot of quote unquote occultists, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of theories about who he was. I mean, I don't think he was a Mason when he wrote Secret Teachings, right? I think he was inducted after that. they were like, holy shit. Now I'm sure his family must have been, because he had been studying this stuff probably his whole life. But no, it's just a little book, little junt. Very, very easy to read because it's such a small little volume of a much larger work. So
right. Well, yeah, it's a pretty dense. The overall work's pretty dense, isn't it?
I still need to cover the Phoenix. So I never really covered that little short chapter he had on, because there's a lot that you could tie the Phoenix into, especially with alchemy.
So you're familiar with Manly P. Hall then?
Absolutely.
His
history. Yeah.
So this may shock you. This is not a very commonly known Manly P. Hall fact. You familiar with the author Ed Sanders, who wrote The Family, about the Manson family murders?
Not familiar with them, no.
It's pretty standard book as far as getting closer to the actual story versus what the L.A. prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi produced in his Helter Skelter book on the family. And they're written at the same time, contemporary to the trials, right thereafter, back in early 70s, 72. But Ed Sanders continued to investigate something I also like to talk about on Operation GCD. And in fact, I've done a number of shows with Nick there in the Occult Rejects on the topic of the Process Church of the Final Judgment.
Dude, what the fuck? That's crazy, bro. Yes, absolutely. I've done a few deep dives on the process.
Okay. So Ed Sanders thought that
research
Manly P. Hall was potentially the Grand Chingon.
Yeah.
And it was rooted in, according to Ed Sanders' notes, it was rooted in some sort of Buddhist, now I've forgot, some sort of like Buddhist sex magic cult. And that was like,
that doesn't surprise me.
It had some sort of Japanese bend to it, though. It was really weird, like such a weird confluence of activities and cultures. I mean, and I looked into the cult. I mean, it was a real thing. I don't know. Manly P. Hall was the leader of that, so much the leader of this Grand Chingon character that's often spoken of in legend, like Kaiser Soze. But
what
are your thoughts on what's that? The cult?
The cult he was in, yeah.
I knew you were going to ask me that. I don't have. It'll come back to me here while we're talking.
Okay. No,
I can't. It was a very obscure one. I'd never heard of it before, and I remember even talking to one of the other fellow Occult Rejects, Jen the Ninja, who's well versed in the Eastern mysticism stuff, because I was like, why is this Buddhism getting mashed together with this Japanese sex tantric? That's what it was. It was some sort of Japanese sex cult based on tantric and Buddhism. I was like, that's too many. I thought these were all different things, like why are they getting all mashed together in this one cult out of Japan?
All the Eastern mysticism is very closely related because it's all right there next to each other. That's something I haven't dived into too much, is the ancient Asian culture and that part of the occult. I think that'd be cool to kind of get into.
Yeah, it is interesting. I haven't gotten too much into it either. My first interest really was discovering Ed Sanders' notes on Manly P. Hall.
Good night, Joey. Yeah, we. Sorry, I'm reading the chat.
I'm trying to catch up myself here, but yeah. So another Manly P. Hall connection to the process would have been Sirhan, the guy that shot RFK.
Oh shit!
He was involved in Rosicrucianism. He went to process sex cult.
Yeah.
Sex cult orgies at the Tate Polanski house, according to an INS investigation report. But he also had connections to the PRS society there. Manly P. Hall's, what is it? I don't remember.
You know a lot more about him than me.
I don't know what it stands for. It's PRS. It's like his little library they had in Hollywood. I don't think that's the one that burnt down. I think that was the Theosophical Library, but it's right down the street.
Yeah, you talk about Manson being related to the Process Church. So was Berkowitz, and so was Savile.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, they're all tied into it, and I think the Process Church has something to do with the cult that's around today, 09A.
I like where you're going.
09A and that 764 offset of it.
I think those are offshoots from the process. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, that's what Austin and me have talked about before.
Nice.
Austin and I.
No, you guys are on some good stuff there. I definitely concur with your assessment there on that. And as far as the process, yeah, I mean, like they're connected to so much. I mean, I don't want to make this a process conversation because I'll go on some process tangents. I just did the other night on Wednesday night, in fact, this past week with Dana from the Rotting Jewels YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with Dana's
Shout out
work.
Dana. Yeah, no, she's awesome.
Yeah.
We haven't done anything yet, but dude, her research on the Process Church it goes deep, dude. It's good shit.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. I'm sure she'll be happy to hear more folks are recognizing her good work there. I know, somebody I brought up the other night, a guy who grew up in a ancient alien cargo cult, the Jehovah's Witnesses. He was a stand-up comedian who's very well versed in conspiracy culture. His name's Kurt Metzger. He's a co-host of Jimmy Dore. They were talking about the process there and Dana's work there and research. And Kurt Metzger, I think this is a good encapsulation of how no one really understands the process today, even in conspiracy culture. You got a guy who's well versed in it, who grew up in an ancient alien cargo cult, and he knew nothing of the process. He didn't he admittedly is saying like he's just learning about it for the first time. He doesn't really understand this group.
Yeah. It's hard to find a lot of info on them if you don't have the right sources to go to.
That's for certain.
The internet's not going to tell you shit.
Son of Sam's shit. Netflix documentaries aren't going to tell you shit. The process
was absolutely fucking not. Only that he talked to the dog, and the dog told him to kill people.
Right. No, that's cool. That's cool. I don't get to meet too many folks that are versed in the process because that's been an interest of mine for many years.
I don't do it any justice like Austin does, man. He kills that shit.
Nice. Well, maybe I'll have to talk to him sometime in the future on some process stuff.
Underclass podcast.
I'll say maybe we can all have a process roundtable sometime.
Dude,
I'd like to hear
that would be sick. Yeah. No, let's fucking do that. Let's definitely do that, dude. Because we could go on and on about the Process Church.
Yeah.
And Robert de Grimston.
He's still alive.
Faggot. He's definitely
Is he a British faggot or an American faggot? Because these have different definitions.
Is he British?
He's a British fellow, yeah. Robert Moore.
That's a completely different meaning then.
Right.
I guess you can't call him a fag. He would just.
You just called him a cigarette at that point, right?
Yeah.
He's like, what is that? He's just confused if you insult him like that. Yeah, he's still alive. Shockingly, he's still alive. He's breathing.
Wow. That's crazy. These occultists do live a long time.
Right? You're right. Look how old Henry Kissinger, that dude was like 90.
Fucking Rothschilds, man.
Yeah,
they all live to 100, usually. Well, I don't know. I don't know how old JJ was. He was when he bit the dust. But
who's that?
Jacob Rothschild.
I'm trying to think. He's probably around 94 or so, I think. I feel like at least.
Yeah, he was pretty
north of. Then. So it was that old dude
running shit. He's running shit from beyond the grave too, dude.
From beyond the grave.
That motherfucker.
That old dude lived forever too, and he was like wrecking vehicles, totaling vehicles. Prince Philip, maybe it was Queen Elizabeth's husband.
Oh God, yeah, that guy looked like a fucking corpse like 10 years before he died, dude.
Oh, it was terrible looking, right?
Yeah.
What is wrong with their son's hands? Have you seen King Charles's hands?
Well, they're descended from Vlad the Impaler.
I thought you were going to say demons. I believe the demons as well.
What do you think? Vampires would be like the physical vampires, because there's spiritual vampires out there. Yeah, there's a lot of them, and they don't even know that they're doing the shit. But
yeah, well, you bring up a good point because he's vacationed at Vlad the Impaler's palace. It's not that he just descends from. He's like, I'm going to go take a royal vacation at Vlad the Impaler's palace.
Musk had a fucking Halloween party there.
Did he really? I'd like to hear this.
Do you know that picture of him wearing like Satan's armor?
The Baphomet thing?
That's Vlad the Impaler's armor.
Get out of here.
I'm not fucking with you. That was
wild.
In Dracula's castle on Samhain. Bro, they had to be doing some shit.
Well, he's a big time occultist. I suspect he's a Raelian.
Yeah, dude. From the theories of him being like a Nephilim portal baby to
Nephilim portal babies.
yeah, or some sort of homunculus.
Yo, you're reading comic books too much when they're
From that to like his recent profile picture of what's the fucking frog's name? The Pepe, you know, and he changed his name to Kekius Maximus, and you know about the,
I saw that shit. It was like a day, right?
The frog, which ties into Osiris as well, being green, you know, him and Ptah. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely on some shit, dude.
Oh, for sure.
He's one of those chaos magicians that we brought up earlier.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Are you familiar with the Raelians?
The what?
The Raelian cult?
What is the Israelians?
No, they're called Raelians. It's just take off the IS from Israelians. Israeli. Well, no, I think they spell it similar. Raelins, Raelians, I think.
I know. It's Ra-El.
There you go, Ra-El. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So
I've heard of it.
It's the cult. The logo is what Kanye West posted there on Twixter. They got him banned. It's the swastika with the Star of David.
Yeah, that's their logo. So it was pretty
That's
much
their logo.
Let me
pull it up for you because it is
symbols are ancient sigils.
X was vocal about being in that.
Oh,
so
for sure.
I find it weird that his ex was in it, and Kanye West posts that symbol and then he kicks him off.
Yeah, his baby mama, right?
You know about Grimes?
That's what I'm talking about, right? She was the one that
her first album slapped. It was called Genesis too. How about that?
Did she get sued by what's his name? The British band Genesis.
No, isn't that Phil Collins' band?
Phil Collins, there we go.
Yeah,
that guy's a demon, isn't he?
Actually,
Phil
Peter
Collins
Gabriel.
fucks.
Peter
Gabriel, he was the original, right?
Phil Collins fucks. Wow, that's
probably did.
Insane. Yeah, dude, just two ancient sigils.
Yeah, that's the cult behind Clonade. Like Teresa just said.
Shit, dude.
That's what I was going to say.
Clone the child. I don't know if it's true.
Yep. So they're an ancient alien Nazi bent sex magic, ancient alien cargo cult that's into cloning. Michael Jackson was presumed to be a member of this cult, and or still is because I think he's still alive. Different story. Elon Musk,
dude, we can get into that too because I want to hear why you think he's still alive. But keep going.
Michael Jackson.
Well, yeah, we can put a little.
You can put a pin on that one. I got a whole theory of folks that are allegedly dead that are that are not dead. So he's not the only one. But yeah, it's an interesting tale.
We can talk about that. But
but yeah, this
sorry,
group's
I don't
really
mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good, man. It's no interruption at all. You're fine. Yeah, this group's super creepy. Just in putting that in summary.
Yeah, I've talked about this a lot lately. People think that's the Star of David, and it very well may be because we all know about like using sigils and the intention behind using them. But that symbol originates from Solomon's temple. That's the hexagram of Solomon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that goes back to some Freemason stuff then.
It's a hex mark, basically. So any church putting the Israeli flag up to give support to our greatest ally, they're putting up ancient hex sigil.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think these things mean things to different people. We just perceive them to mean.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying about the intent behind using.
Right. No, I get it for sure. Yeah, I get what you're saying for sure. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I mistook that for a Star of David. I didn't know that was the hexagram symbol from King Solomon.
Oh yeah, man. The hexagram of Solomon. It's talked about in the Goetia, which is something that I'm going to be diving into fairly soon. Pretty sure.
And I've heard the term Goetia. Can you refresh my memory here?
The
interwebs.
The Lesser Keys of Solomon.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's magical grimoire
and lesser. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Magical
I believe
grimoire.
I believe Crowley and Joseph Smith both use this as in the root, some of the root of their religions.
Well,
Thelema and Mormonism.
Joseph Smith, the golden tablets he received, those were alchemical tablets, just like the emerald tablets.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
That's all they were. It was
and I mean, they may as well have been alchemical. No one ever saw them. He's like, oh no, you want to see them? Oh, the Moroni took them back.
Right. Moroni, which sounds a lot. Well,
sounds like moron, doesn't it?
Well, Merodach, Marduk.
I just assumed you had to be a moron to believe it, so they just added an I at the end. Moroni, moron.
Yeah.
To be fair, I grew up as a Mormon.
No shit. One of my friends who streams with me, he has a show called Artificial Dissemination. Not nice guy. He is a Mormon as well. And we actually talked about that this past weekend on our live stream we did. So
nice.
That's crazy, dude. Did you grow up in Utah?
No. I'm
sorry. I don't know why I would think like every Mormon's from Utah.
Right? No, you're fine. Actually, it's some. My mother was a convert into the church in Washington D.C. in the 70s. But I have roots in Mormonism in Vermont. So I mean, it's Mormonism grew out of Vermont, and that's where Joseph Smith was born. They got a giant obelisk, giant dick statue at his birthplace in Sharon, Vermont.
Giant phallus, dude.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's shady character, that Joseph Smith, right? Shady character.
Yeah, dude. I probably don't know nearly as much as you do, but I don't know. Anyone?
He was a big occult magician, though, right? I mean, Nick and I have we've discussed this at various times, at least in passing, that when Smith was murdered by fellow Freemasons in a Carthage, Illinois prison, he had all sorts of magical devices on him, talismans, knives, fucking voodoo stuff. I don't know. Yeah, not voodoo stuff, but he had like a Mars dagger,
Mars dagger,
Jupiter talisman.
Yeah, planetary sigil.
I don't know what these things mean. Nick would probably have a better understanding.
Somebody talk about this in the past couple days.
You know who covers that a lot? Heidi. I don't know if you've maybe heard Heidi Love.
Yeah, dude. Heidi's awesome. I think she's going to come on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her on again too, actually, soon.
Yeah, man.
Cool chick.
Who did I hear? Was it William Ramsey that talked about it? He went on Nephilim Death Squad the other day. I'm pretty sure it was him. They have
very possible. I mean, that's something that I could see would be within William's wheelhouse.
Yeah. I got to get him on GreyPill. Like I said, we had him on Already Dead, but be fun to get him on GreyPill.
Big fan of his work. I've been sharing my thoughts. We've been exchanging ideas on Smiley Face Killers for about going on 9 years now. Me and William Ramsey.
He does talk about that a lot. That's something I still haven't even dived into.
It's a lot to take in. Also, I'll take it to the end of that tale. It's the process.
What do you know?
Go figure.
Sense, dude.
Go figure.
Makes fucking sense.
You wanted to hear some more about that Michael Jackson situation.
Yes.
Folks of the interwebs want to hear about it. Martin Carson, thanks for the comment there. I didn't forget to hear. He wrote Dave.
So
Dave
hey,
was this.
Sorry. I'm just saying hey to everybody.
If anyone wants to go check out, I'll see if I can find. I'll pull it up right now. Then I'll put it in the show notes as well. It's the Larry King live interview with Marlon Brando's son and this guy named Dave, but it's really just Michael Jackson wearing a costume as this Dave character. So Dave was this kid that was the kid's father tried to kill him when he burned down the house and thought the son was dead inside, but ended up just getting burnt all over. And needed millions of dollars in surgeries just to even breathe and survive. Dude lived into, I think, his 40s thanks to Michael Jackson's support and financial assistance with surgeries. So he kind of adopted this kid, right?
Yeah.
Not really adopted, but the kid's father was in prison, for murder and trying to murder him and whatnot. So seemed like I'm not big on thinking Michael Jackson was a diddler, and it didn't take me an HBO documentary where they talk about staring at buttholes for 3 hours to come to that conclusion, but. Those kids were full of shit, and their families are full of shit.
Yeah,
I think Michael Jackson was a stand-up dude. I mean, he might be into some weird shit. He grew up in Jehovah's Witness and seemingly had some connections with the Raelians. married a Scientologist and Lisa Marie Presley. So definitely into some weird shit. But so this Dave character, as he's grown up after Michael's death, Larry King Live has him on there along with Marlon Brando's son, which was Michael Jackson's best friend. And I'll play the clip of this video. You can tell me for yourself whether or not you think it's Michael Jackson underneath some weird costume.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's it's a pretty wild. Let's see what this one is. Well, that's Russia. I can't do that. I want to get on a list here. Not even sure why something .ru is the first to come up. Let me.
There you go. What's up, Bobby?
Yeah, and Marlon Brando of all people. I mean, he's a complete weirdo. I mean, he's got a whole mess of children. I'm not exactly certain where this one falls into the mix, right? This Nico.
I didn't know he had a bunch of kids, dude.
Oh, he's got like 13 of them.
Fucked and had kids. I just didn't know how many.
A couple are dead. One went to prison. 3 people died in his home. One of which was his son murdering his daughter's boyfriend. That daughter's from the French Tahitian royal family because Brando married into that. Brando he was living the high life in the South Pacific, and he has his own island over there in French Polynesia. He has his own private resort there today. Like, it still exists, even though he's long past.
So
he's an interesting character. Oh yeah,
he had lots of money. Yeah, I knew that Michael was friends with his son. That he died too, right?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know a lot about this one or his relationship with Michael, but they were pretty tight. So that's Nico Brando right there. This is literally at the funeral, right? This interview was done contemporary to the funeral. So this is Dave. Get a little introduction here.
And Dave, yes, that's his name, Dave. He was David Rothenberg. He was set on fire in 1983, suffered, as you can see, terrible scars. Michael Jackson befriended him and paid for a lot of his surgeries. Dave is also attending the burial. Why Dave?
Well, to liberate myself from the confines of my father's criminality.
So, I mean, this character looks to be of substantial size and has an interesting voice compared to. Let me see if I can pull up the real Dave. But what are your thoughts on this character? Do you see an odd Michael Jackson kind of resemblance to this guy?
Yeah, and you can hear it as well.
Right, the voice. The voice is what's damning to me as well. I think so as well. Yeah.
I don't know. You don't see a whole lot of people with burns that bad, go on live TV. Just like
for sure. And look at he's this person on the camera right now has got some broad shoulders, right? Even if he's got some pads in them jackets or whatnot, he's a substantial sized individual. This guy is not a tiny little person on live, right? I mean, you can see if I can get a better
name
shot.
Too, right? Just screams fucking just fake.
Right. This name. Character of Dave. He goes into describing his story with Michael Jackson. Again, it's an interesting one.
And I remember sitting down, and at the time,
But I think the thing that my takeaway from this portion of and I'll post this clip in the show notes, but this fella here, Brando fucked Richard Pryor, true story. That's unfortunate.
I've heard that.
That's unfortunate. I'm not surprised.
Richard Pryor used to get fucked by a lot of motherfuckers.
Oh,
that's
he's
what I've heard.
Crack too, wasn't he?
Man,
I just think this guy right here has got a very substantial build to him, right? Let me pull up the real Dave for comparison. He was not a substantially sized individual. I believe he was roughly around 5'4". And do you see any broad shoulders on this?
Yeah, person? Dude, shorter than me.
Oh, he's a tiny little fella. He's a tiny little fella. He's not the same guy you see prominently sitting at the desk, all whole torso above the desk. The broad shoulders here, right?
Well, I mean, that is a suit. I mean, it's gonna have shoulder pads.
That's what I'm saying. He's gonna have some padding there, but even then, this dude doesn't seem to have the substantial. The real Dave doesn't seem to have a substantial body size to me as this character we're seeing on the.
The
desk. What the problem is too, not denying this, but I mean, if this guy actually had surgeries done, I mean, you're gonna keep looking different every time you do.
Yeah.
And a burn victim is going to have mad fucking surgeries.
For sure. No, that's a good point, and that's fair. That's why I try to focus on the size of the individual there. And again, the voice. The voice sounds like Michael Jackson to me.
That did sound like Michael Jackson.
Hey, Nick, I have a Rumble rant from Joey Poopbag that said, will Nick show us his shirt? No homo.
Yes. Show the shirt, sure. Jeff.
Michael Stipe from REM. No, that's Dave. He does look have a Michael Stipe appearance there in a photo, though. Dave's now since passed. There are a lot of other weird aspects surrounding the death of Michael Jackson, or the alleged death of Michael Jackson. Again, he was married to Lisa Marie Presley.
Right.
Went out that Elvis faked his death in 1977. So maybe he learned it from his wife on how to fake his death.
I mean, that makes sense. You got Tupac naming himself, Machiavelli or whatever. We know that's where Machiavelli faked his, or that was like the first person who faked their death, right?
I remember that conspiracy theory popping off right immediately there in the 90s, like around 95 or so, right?
Yeah.
Right after the death of Tupac.
I don't know. And you could go so far to say that maybe when some of these people fake their deaths, they're like being reborn in some way. I don't know, man. If you think about soul transfers and avatar bodies and stuff, I don't know. Maybe there's a deeper meaning to it, because most of these mystery schools that they're a part of are just they practice rebirth rituals, right? Whether that be. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
I was just going to say, that it could be interpreted as a lot of things, but maybe they're just dead. I don't know. Are you like 100% that's Michael Jackson? What percentage?
I would put money on it. I'd put money on that.
Certainty.
Give it some.
Oh, okay. Well,
give it some other details. I'd put some money on that for sure. I like this idea you were just saying about this this rebirth situation though.
Yeah.
Because it does strike me that these people are occultists. There must be some occult meaning to their activities, not just hey, these assholes fake their death, right?
That's what I think. Yeah, call me crazy.
Well, if like I have said, I do think sometimes when you fuck with magic, you won't come back.
No, these people
absolutely,
literally didn't come back.
Oh, well, that could be a thing that happens.
Yeah,
for sure.
How are you going to explain that?
But you mentioned Tupac, and so if you're thinking that he's some sort of maybe occultist then too, right? He was. I agree with you. I think he probably
absolutely.
was into some of that.
I also think he was gay. But.
There we go. So you beat me to it. I like your style there, Jules. So he was recruited by a lot of the same recruitment tactics. They recruit young gay men and make them do weird shit, right? Because look at like a lot of people don't like. Nick, are you familiar with these ideas of Tupac being a Juilliard trained homosexual man?
I don't know about the Juilliard, but I have heard of the homo thug theory.
Yeah, he went to Juilliard for sure.
Yeah, I've heard that. He was a theater kid.
Oh yeah, look at this video. I mean,
all these rappers were actors.
He was a theater kid.
I was a theater kid, but I'm not a fag, so
that's fucked up.
Well, I mean, you can't say that about. I don't think you can say the same about Tupac. You know what I mean? Look at this guy.
I'm 17 years old.
Do you like being 17?
It's like 17 such a weird age.
So they pulled him aside over there at Juilliard one day. Said, "Hey, Tupac, let's get this interview." I don't know. They don't really go into the precise nature of why they were doing that interview, but it is very odd.
Yeah, it's almost like an audition tape or something.
It kind of seems that way, right?
Bro, what's your audition for? Your role as Tupac,
exactly,
on this world stage.
No, I like the way you think there, Jules, because this is how I view Tupac. Have you ever seen the film Malibu's Most Wanted?
Bro, I was Malibu's Most Wanted.
Nice.
When I was a kid.
Nice. See that when like B-Rad's dad hires them like Julie, and one of them's a Juilliard trained actor who plays the thug who kidnaps old B-Rad there.
Right. Yeah, were they
That's
trying to tell us
Tupac,
something
like,
with that?
Whoever wrote that was like, let's make this character based on Tupac, Juilliard trained actor, pretend to be a thug.
Wow, I didn't even think about that, man. That's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
You'll find stuff like that in movies such as
Oh,
that. You wouldn't think you would find any kind of symbolism in that movie, especially something like conspiracy wise. But that's wild.
Right. I'm
It's
trying to
such a
find a
good
clip
movie,
right
bro.
now.
That's back when movies were actually like funny.
Oh, that was a
Even
great
though
movie.
they were like a little stupid, they were still funny. They weren't super fucking cringe like them woke and gay like they are now. So
Right, for sure.
yeah.
I think this is the clip right here. No, I think a lot of stuff's embedded in movies, right? Whether intentionally or unintentionally, right? The writers know shit, right? It's the basis of reality, right? They exist in this world. They see and hear things. Whether or not they're consciously putting that into the film, I argue in many aspects they are. But whether or not they're doing that or not, it's still making its way in there. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. The OSS and the CIA have been writing fiction and movies for years. The agents of these organizations, so they've been intentionally inserting things into these films and stuff for years. One example would be a movie that foreshadows a lot of between the JFK and that French president who got shot. I can't think of his name.
Pierre something
French,
probably.
Yeah, it might as well be Pierre. French things are stupid. But it's called Parallax View, and is written by literally an OSS CIA officer. Lauren Singer is his name. It stars Warren Beatty, and it's this team of assassins that are getting hired by this Permindex style global corporate conglomerate, which Permindex was this global corporate conglomerate identified in the JFK assassination that included CIA and mafia folks like Joseph Bonanno, the crime family boss who got retired in the late 60s because he got busted in the JFK Warren Commission as being involved in the fucking JFK assassination through this company called Permindex, where he sat on the board with Clay Shaw, which is the Tommy Lee Jones character from the Oliver Stone film JFK.
Oh shit, dude. I haven't seen that movie in so long, but it's such a good movie.
Yeah,
Have you seen the footage that they dropped, I think, yesterday?
No, what is that?
Oh, dude. Y'all haven't seen this?
No.
All right, let me.
JFK stuff?
It's like the footage from his shooting.
Oh yeah, I saw that pop up today.
You saw it?
I was like, I'm not even going to pay mind to this.
I didn't see it.
The technology we have today can make it look like. I mean, I was just like, really, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look here. I'm gonna pull this up. All right, so you can.
Knock it out. I'll put it on the screen here when you pull it up.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like JFK is a subject in which people just like to fuck around with. Like, oh, we're going to release some documents. Oh, we're going to, these people do it. These people do it. It's just no one even pays attention to these details anymore.
Yo, do you know that the first one his first movie didn't even come out for like over 10 years after he was assassinated?
As far as like anyone questioning it officially?
No, the JFK video. Remember that?
Oh, the Zapruder film. Right.
That didn't come out for like what, over 10 years after it was supposedly filmed.
Yeah, and how did Dick Gregory get his hands on it? How did stand-up
Dick,
comedian Dick Gregory?
Yeah, he had he must have been like high rank in whatever kind of like whatever lodge he was a part of, because he knew all this shit, man. And then when he got old, he spilled it all. Right?
Started to, didn't he? Right? He did get a little mouthy there at the end, didn't he? Spilled a lot of tea, didn't he?
Dude, all of it. Yeah, he didn't give a fuck anymore.
Him and Prince both. Prince went the same way, right?
Yep.
Screaming about chemtrails. He was a Jehovah's Witness.
But see, the date of Prince's death, bro, like it's real. Oh, dude, it has something to do with that "I Would Die for You" song.
Oh, there's some occult
stuff. I wish I could explain it to you. I heard it on. I can't even remember what I heard it on. Maybe Tinfoil Hat. I don't know. But yeah, Prince. I mean, Prince was probably in that club too, right?
I mean, he grew up in an ancient alien cargo cult, the Jehovah's Witnesses. So I mean,
shit, dude.
Yeah, he was big, and they were very devout Jehovah's Witnesses. I believe he claimed to be out through his entire life.
And Jehovah's Witnesses was started by Charles Taze Russell, right? Of the Russell family, Illuminati bloodline.
Yep, Skull and Bones.
But these movies, dude, yeah, it's all just revelation of the method. They're just
Sure.
telling us what they're doing, and I don't know if it makes them feel better or it's just how it has to go. There's many reasons you could probably give for it. Here. I'm going to play this though, just so you can get your thoughts on this.
Please do.
I want to get you taken off YouTube. Man, think about that.
Oh, this is no good for YouTube's.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out.
You may have like a warning on the video.
What is the origin of this video?
The driver did it?
The driver.
Yeah.
No, I don't know why the video is just pausing now.
Sure, this was the idea that Bill Cooper was touring America in the 90s.
Like the Chinese version. Yeah.
Telling everybody that the driver did it, right?
Yeah. Oh.
So are you familiar with the film JFKX and the filmmakers Ryder Lee and Jay Widener? Nick and I interviewed them on the Occult Rejects about their documentary JFKX.
I don't think so.
It's an interesting theory. They've taken that Zapruder footage, right? Maybe Nick recalls more of it than I do.
Well, there is proof there is actual like legit proof that there is editing and splicing in there. Something else that they were saying, like the whole thing with the 10 different after 10 years, but basically they kind of proved how they think it's actually they faked him actually getting killed. Like
they believe JFK is still alive. That whole footage was a CIA product that took 10 years to produce.
That's like some fucking QAnon shit or something. Right.
It is. I thought the same thing. I watched the documentary. It's available on Amazon. They make a very compelling argument. They use this very standard Hollywood film processing process. Not to use the word process, but this technology, Scientology, same difference. But whatever. They use this new technique. They take the old film to restore film, the old tape film to make it digital. They use that same process, but now they're analyzing that film and they find a lot of discrepancies.
Damn, dude.
I mean, there's an obvious. You even see the splice. I mean, you can't even help that.
Oh yeah, they make a very compelling. Whether or not JFK is still alive or survived that day, I mean, I guess you can. That could be disputed, but what should not be disputed at this point in time is that Zapruder film seems to be a completely manufactured film from courtesy of the CIA and the folks at Kodak. Of course, Zapruder was a 33rd degree Freemason, so. Why he's just standing there filming something while everyone else is taking cover from the shots. He's on like a 7-foot pillar and his secretary's like holding his feet to make sure he doesn't fall.
The president's going through the town and there's 20 people. Basically.
And he steadies a go with that camera too, isn't he?
Shit, dude. I didn't know that he was a Freemason.
33rd degree, I believe.
Wow.
Are you familiar with the King Kill 30? Oh, there we go. Headless beat me to it. Are you the Freemason part there? Are you familiar with the King Kill 33 theory of the JFK assassination?
Yes. It's the same thing with what's his name, King Leopold, that was assassinated.
Second, yep.
Yeah. It's all.
Yeah, so you're talking about this ancient ritual killing of the king, right? That's kind of what this concept is. It manifested in the killing of Leopold to start World War I. It later manifested in the assassination, or possibly not at the assassination of JFK, but even if it wasn't, I think even if he wasn't assassinated, I think the idea still plays the same, because it's the idea of convincing the public through this magical ritual that he was murdered, right? So Nick shaking his magical hood in agreement with what I'm inferring here, that whether or not he died is irrelevant to the magical ritual, right? Because they've convinced people that he did die.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, it's kind of like with the Trump assassination.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how his hair looks now too.
Right.
Well, King Leopold was a tyrant out of Belgium. I guess he wasn't the guy that started World War I. Which European guy was that?
Maybe it was him, and he was just a piece of shit. I'm sure he was an occultist too. But
I think these ancient rites, this ancient rite of killing of the king, I think it's probably manifested more than just those two examples.
Yeah.
Archduke Ferdinand, thank you.
Archduke Ferdinand, thanks, Fire Pixie. Hey, Fire Pixie.
The yeah,
That's
so I
wild,
just
dude.
the
No, that-
everyone involved in the JFK situation were Freemasons, from Dulles to Hoover to
What about the fucking
Ritter.
lady? Was she in the Eastern Star? You know, the little old lady, the
Babushka lady.
babushka lady. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Possibly, I don't think she's
You
ever
know, the
been
Eastern
officially
Star was
identified, right?
started 30 minutes south from where I live.
Did they have hoods?
I'm sure.
They were
That's
hoodwearing Mississippians, huh?
literally like south of Jackson, right there, right off the interstate.
So that
In
when did that start?
1952, I think
Okay.
1952 was when the Eastern Star was founded.
So it's not that old.
No, not that old at all. They finally allowed women to be Freemasons, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't. I never understand what function. I mean, I guess to a certain extent, I can understand
Well,
the
there's always
Freemasonry thing.
been, witch covens and what you would consider a witch. I don't know.
Sure.
Someone who participates
way
in
to look
dark
at it.
magic. Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it.
And then you have, and then that goes all the way back to the spirit of Lilith, right? Who was just
vampire?
Yeah, dude. What the fuck, dude? Yeah, that's okay. So that's where I talked about this on Nephilim Death Squad. The Edinmu were wind spirits, or what you would call sylphs. Well, those are like the elemental kind of wind spirits, but who knows? They're part of the same kind of class. But so, yeah, dude, these are from ancient Sumeria, basically. That's
right.
what they
Lilith
were
was
called.
Adam's first wife. Is that how the story goes?
Adapa, yeah. Because in that story, there's two Adams, right?
Oh, I did not know that.
There's Adamu and Adapa now, and you have the myth of Adapa, which is a cuneiform tablet, but Adamu sounds. No, Joey. I worked like 10 hours today, bro. You know how he knows. He knows. Who knows?
I think that's the magic that
You'll never
Nick's hiding
know.
behind that hood.
Joey.
I said, I think that's the magic Nick's hiding behind that hood. Nick's high, to answer
Nick's
Joey's
very
question.
high right now. I actually it's cold as shit here. That's why I have my heater on. I probably sound a little hoarse or something. I've been fucking congested all week. So
what's the story of Lilith thing? Because I feel like modern day Satanism, specifically Michael Aquino's wife, who I believe changed her name to Lilith. I don't think that was her given name, her birth name. She started something called the Order of the Vampire when she and Aquino started the Temple of Set. It's one of their more I don't know the hierarchy. It's up there near the top though, as far as their internal orders and structures. Yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
I have a noted theory that she introduced these vampire cults into Kentucky and Dayton, Ohio regions, the western side of Kentucky and Dayton, up to Dayton, Ohio, which to date, there's been a prominent vampire cult activity.
I didn't know that there were vampire cults over there.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck did you learn this, dude?
Well, I actually met one of them. I met the foster. I inadvertently encountered a homicidal vampire cult in Murray, Kentucky back in 1998.
What the fuck, dude?
And recently Netflix canceled at the last minute. They already had it in the bag. It was already done, ready to release a true crime documentary about a vampire cult in Dayton, Ohio that murdered some dude back in 1993. And it seemed pretty legit. Like looking at some of the police were pretty certain that's what was going on there. That's who murdered this dude. Anyhow, Netflix canceled at the last minute, and supposedly, no one wants to talk about it, but Dayton, Ohio apparently has the second highest population of vampires, only behind New Orleans. Registered vampires. It's a whole different story. How do you even figure that out? Does everyone get a questionnaire? Are you a vampire? Like, I don't know how these things are determined, but that's the claim at least.
Fucking vampires in New Orleans. Yeah, you see that. What's that movie? Diary of a Vampire.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever. Yep. Yeah, they're in New Orleans, right?
It's also the Process Church's global headquarters, New Orleans.
Also, this may some people may not play video games, but what game was it? Red Dead 2. You kill a vampire in the town. It's like a little Easter egg that you can find. But you kill a vampire in the town that is New Orleans.
Oh.
I forgot the name of it, but yeah. So
a lot of New Orleans. So that vampire cult that I encountered in I encountered, to be fair,
tell me about that, please.
All right, well, fair enough. So most folks go to like for like your high school senior year spring break. You're like, oh, I'm going to go to the beach, right? Like a lot of folks I went to high school with in Ohio, Cincinnati. They went to like Myrtle Beach or something like that, right? Like I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to Murray, Kentucky. And if you're not familiar with Murray, Kentucky, folks, the interwebs are not familiar with it. It's in the kind of remote southwestern region of Kentucky, in the hills of kind of the foothills of Appalachia and Lake Country, land between the lakes. I went down there with one of my dudes whose family's from we went to stay at his grandmother's house and smoked a bunch of good pot from Kentucky for a week. His next door neighbor was his cousin, and his uncle, lived next door, his dad's brother.
Yeah.
And, his cousin was the same age as us. He was like a Taekwondo or something, sort of like national championship in some sort of martial art. So I'm playing video games. I'm not even a big video game player, but having some epic March Madness tournaments going on in whatever video game we were playing at the time. And dude's just telling me, me and my dude are sitting over at his cousin's house playing a video game. His cousin, the Taekwondo dude, is just doing roundhouse kicks on like a heavy bag behind me as I'm playing video games. And he's like telling me, he's like, hey, you're sitting in the chair and playing a video game of a homicidal vampire. I'm like, dude, all right, what's going on? I paused the game. Like, what's going on right now, bud? Stop doing the roundhouse kicks. Let's get to the story here, Chuck Norris. He was his dad was a minister in town. He was a junior minister at that same church. I was 17, I think he was maybe 18 at the time. They decided to be a foster family for the head vampire he would later turn out to be the head vampire. Rod Farrell was his name. He's in prison today for murder.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. So he's like, I'm playing video games with Rod Farrell.
This is like real.
This is real. So
okay, because Nick's over there laughing. So I know.
It's just fucked out. It's like, what the fuck?
So I insisted on, as you're saying, is this real? Like I insisted on proof. Like I'm like, all right, dude, stop the roundhouse kicks. Let's go see some evidence, right? So he was a junior minister, and Rod Farrell was living there at his house as a foster child, right? Yeah. So they got to know each other real well, and he decided he was going to go preach to this cult about their wrongdoings, and this is Bible Belt country, plus again he's a minister, and I'm like, whoa, dude, were you alarmed? And then while I said that, I remembered, I'm an idiot. I just watched this dude Chuck Norris roundhouse kick this heavy bag while trying to tell me a story about vampires. I'm pretty sure he was okay. But he went, so he knew all the vampire sites around town, and he knew the cult through Rod Farrell, the alleged 600-year-old vampire that had incarnated into this 17-year-old young man.
Maybe had an avatar body, bro.
There you go. He went Avatar with it. So they drive to Florida, murder. They recruited a new member to the vampire cult. I believe she was 16 or 15. They do a ritual human sacrifice, pentagrams on the floor, everything, fires in the family's living room where they murdered the girl's parents. And then they drive the 4 or 5 of the vampires that are on that mission, then drive to New Orleans, and that's where they get arrested. Strangely enough, in New Orleans.
And how long after did this happen?
So I think the murders was 97, I think. And so this is like a year after. This is like a year after the trial. No one in town wanted to talk about it. We got, he even told me, my dude's cousin even told me, like, look, no one, when I insisted on him taking us to locations, he's like, look, if we see anybody, just, follow my lead. We're just going to get out of there. I'm like, all right, whatever, man. Because he said that the story was, it was a bunch of teenagers, right? Playing some sort of Magic the Gathering card game or whatever, and satanic panic nonsense. What it turned out was, though, there was adults involved in this cult, and apparently the cult still continued, even though Rod Farrell sits in prison.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
that is insane.
But I think Lilith, Michael Aquino, was stationed at Fort Knox in 1972, I think, 73. Right at the same time, him and Lilith are starting this vampire order that's hierarchical, top of the hierarchy order within the Temple of Set, which presumably Lilith runs, since she's the named after the vampire, and she's doing all the vampire stuff.
Right.
I think they're likely the ones that have influenced all these vampire cults in that very specific geographical region surrounding Fort Knox. Basically 100 miles in each direction, really.
Holy shit, dude. So do you think was that guy, and do you think he knew Michael Aquino?
No,
or?
so I suspect maybe his grandfather did. So it seemed to be a generational thing. So it seemed that he got into the cult with his mother.
Yeah.
And it always is. And then she got in through her father, right? So it seemed to be that's like, but just the influence. So at first glance, you're thinking vampire cult, homicidal vampire cult. Well, those aren't Satanists. Why wouldn't you can't rule that out? Just because they're LARPing as werewolves now, they're LARPing as vampires. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs.
Yeah, they're fucking them as well.
And I've heard that earlier tonight.
Well, there's that werewolf. What the fuck was it?
Yeah.
Nicholas Shrek.
Yeah, he was in some werewolf order.
Okay. What?
Yeah. And he's a priest. He's a priest in the Church of Satan. He was a underling to Aquino in the Temple of Set. He left him and LeVay's daughter left and joined Aquino's cult. Right?
Yeah, man.
Big dividing situation.
And that's why I said, or I usually say, all these certain deities that are worshipped, they're all part of the same ancestry, where they all come from.
That makes a lot of sense to me. I like that idea.
Because there's all these different little cults and little sects of these occult groups. And it's like, why aren't they all just under one? Right? If they're all worshiping the Satan, because we know Satan means adversary. It's more of a title,
sure,
than an actual deity. I mean, you do have, I think, what's that name? Satanael or Satan, but that's just also referring. It's not like a, I don't know. You can usually tell. Yeah. You can usually tell through, I guess you would have to know what kind of rites they use and what kind of rituals they do. And you can usually tell through the symbolism too.
Sure.
So penis vampires, Big Z.
Penis vampires.
Yeah.
Watch out for them. Those are dangerous.
Nephilim shit. Meat Cavern.
Taylor
what's up,
Swift
bro?
a vampire? I'm not sure about vampire, but she might be a dude. I mean, she's a very ugly woman if that's a woman.
She's definitely a dude.
Yeah, super. No, like the idea of I'm offended, personally offended that anyone, whoever's behind that whole situation, I'm offended that they want me to think that's an attractive woman. Taylor Swift, look at it. That's not a dude. That's a very ugly woman. I mean, those like giant inflatable things you see at car dealerships with the air and stuff. They're like the dancing things.
Dude,
that's what she looks like to me on stage.
I was driving with my daughter and I had to do a loop like 3 times around the interstate because it's off of like a frontage road. And because she wanted to wave to the guy.
Yeah, the giant.
The sock puppet dude or what the fuck ever he's called.
That's what Taylor Swift looks like to me on stage dancing. Is one of those. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, she doesn't even seem to be a skilled dancer in regard. And
it's fucking dog shit, dude. Yeah. It's terrible dancing. I've never really been a fan. When they put somebody up there like that, it's one, a distraction, and two,
big time.
Yeah, and two, I mean, dude, she has to know. I've heard that. I think I've heard stories of people who have been at her concerts and like feel like rushes of energy or something, and that may be from all the people in the room like dancing the same stupid fucking dance, and I'm sure singing, right? So, but she may just be putting spells on people just on stage.
I think so. I mean, look at she's selling out concerts more than the Beatles and Michael Jackson. What are we talking about here?
Fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
And there are people that, both men and women, that would like die for her.
You ain't kidding. Like, the NFL's done a great job. I think that's what her role in the whole Travis Kelce thing was, to try to some marketing strategy by the NFL to incorporate young Swifties as the viewers.
Absolutely, dude. Because like, wasn't he dating black chicks before that or something?
Yeah. And if you
He
see the
went
dude
from-
dressed, he's always kind of dressing like he does date black chicks. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, dude. It's like
got some poo poo on or something.
you went from that to this one, and I mean, I guess whatever. It just doesn't seem like it's legit. Like what we were talking about earlier.
Sure.
It's just acting. All these fucking people are actors, gay actors. Taylor Swift will win the Super Bowl again.
Right. I don't doubt
Probably.
it.
That there's a fucking script to the Super Bowl too.
Right.
Fucking incredible, man. Just bread and circus.
Yeah,
Watch your
that's
sports,
exactly.
goy.
It's the magical way in which society's controlled, right? All this bread and circus nonsense.
Yeah. It's been like that forever too. You know.
Sure.
I mean, when you think about it, sports are just like fucking, just like the gladiator rings in ancient Rome.
Oh, they were talking about
Except
the movies.
these-
I'm about to say the first Gladiator or the second Gladiator, because I heard the second Gladiator.
No,
not
you
good
know,
at
just
all.
oh yeah, no, I'm not. I wouldn't watch that. They just put a black man in place of someone who probably wasn't black. You know what they do in most movies nowadays.
Sure.
Subversion of the culture and the arts. I mean, movies are fucking terrible now, dude.
That's
I don't watch
damn
new
sure.
movies. I just
Yeah,
watch
they're not
old
good.
shows and old movies if I ever watch anything. Yeah, I just can't get into it. And like I was saying, I think there is some sort of mind manipulation, mind control aspect to it as well.
The magical hood is shaking in a direction that seems to indicate that Nick agrees with you.
I'm glad Nick agrees.
I know it's tough to talk to that hood. That's why I'm trying to translate it.
Thanks.
For you.
I was just listening.
Right.
Yeah.
God, man.
No, it's good.
You
I
got that
like
thing on the whole time.
your thoughts there, Joel. You're putting together some very interesting ideas here this evening. I appreciate you. I appreciate you joining
Yeah,
me
man.
here. I don't know if you guys got any fellas have some parting statements here for the folks at the interwebs, but I'll be happy to turn it over to y'all. But Jules, I think it's great. Again, thanks for joining us here tonight. I think it's great to meet you there, bud. You got my wheels turning on a couple different topics. We'll definitely have to link up again in the future.
We will, dude. For
for
sure.
more
For sure.
conversations. But yeah,
Man.
why don't you let folks know where they can find more of your work and in your plugs, you got anything you're working on right now?
Yeah, man. So yeah, guys, GreyPill podcast. I'm on Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Go subscribe to me, follow me on X, GreyPill Pod, Instagram, GreyPill_podcast. I'm doing an Elohim etymology tomorrow morning, I believe. I don't know what time yet. Maybe tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. I'll have to see. Me and Adrian. So y'all tune in. We'll be going live to X and Rumble for the first 30 minutes. And then we're going to be doing probably a longer one this time because last week we was kind of a conclusion, like a wrapping up of a certain deity. So, and he had a meeting that he had to get to. So y'all check it out tomorrow. Then we go straight to Patreon for the rest of that. Patreon.com/GreyPill podcast. Guys, get in where you fit in. I got a few tiers. Got a lot of good shit coming on there. I will be hosting Already Dead Tuesday with Jose because Austin's on vacation. I don't know if we're having a guest on. And then I may be doing a show Sunday. I don't know. I have to check with the wife. But next
Nice.
Sunday, though.
I got your links in the show notes, so folks
Thanks,
can go check on those things here.
Yeah, man.
Any updates on your shows? I'm definitely gonna be checking some of those out. I like this this Elohim etymology series. It sounds like something I would definitely enjoy.
Yeah, brother. Well, I was going to say next Sunday is my 1 year anniversary, so I'm doing a stream, like an all day stream.
Oh, nice.
Probably not all day, but
Not 24 hours.
Not 24 hours. No. But it's gonna be a good time. Got a bunch of people coming on, so like throughout the day, but just be hanging out.
Nice.
Hanging out with the audience. I have a pretty good audience. But yeah, guys. This
what
was
date?
fun,
What
man.
date is that? Your 1 year anniversary? What specific
February
date was that?
2nd is when I went on Reality Czars last year.
Nice. Oh, I know those folks. I met them recently as well, actually.
Yeah, Nate.
Yeah, my homies,
Yeah,
man.
Nate. Yep. And Mr. Bigfoot or Dr. Squatch.
That's
some sort of
those.
squad?
You went on Schizo News Network.
Yeah,
Schizo News Network. There you go.
I used to be a host on there before I had to start using my Saturday evenings to hang out with the family. Whatnot. Started
I like those guys. They're
podcasting a
pretty
little
wild.
too much. Yeah, dude. Shouts out Nate and Squatch. Yeah, dude.
Yes. That's a good time. I've enjoyed my time over there.
It's
Yeah.
a buck wild.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know you used to be affiliated over there doing some co-hosting. That's nice.
I started that show with them. Well, it was me,
Nice.
Nate, and Cody. And
Awesome.
Cody, haven't talked to him in a while. I hope he's okay. And yeah, man. Need to
Apparently
go
this
on sometime,
breaking news:
but
Squatch is gay. I'm not sure if that's.
I never
actual
do
Squatch.
anything Saturday nights but hang out with my family. So it's kind of that day of the week, you know.
Oh, sure. I didn't mean to step on you there. I was just commenting on this.
No, you're good. I've stepped on you
Squatch is
probably 100 times this episode, dude. Watch your butthole. Yes, Bobby sent a rumble rant. Nick, he said, Nick, please give a Roman. Oh God.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
He's not Elon, Bobby.
Yeah.
Soul Explorer.
No,
said,
it sounds like you're working on some
Hail
awesome
Nick.
stuff there. It sounds like you're working on some
Sorry,
awesome
Nick.
stuff there, Jules. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
jumping
man.
in and listening to some more of your stuff there for sure. And definitely looking forward to future conversations. I'll have to have you over on Operation GCD sometime to do a roundtable on the process for sure, if not some other topics.
I'm sure we could do a few roundtables, dude. But thank y'all for having me on, brother.
No, thank you, man. It's a great conversation. I always enjoy learning whenever I do come across some new topics, and you've got me, like I said, you got my wheels turning a bit on a couple different issues, so I like it.
Oh yeah, no, we had real good conversation. And Nick, the last time he came on my show, dude, it was a fucking
Oh,
bang.
yeah. Yo, I have to say, I'll be totally honest with you, and it's not because you're here, but like for someone that I went on their show, you probably asked some of the best questions I've ever actually been asked.
Nice.
Thanks,
I was
man.
like, damn. I was like, yo, this guy's hitting me with shit I have to think about.
Thanks, dude.
Great. Yeah.
I usually think I underperform.
No,
that's
no,
just me
no.
being self-critical of myself, and I have a bad habit of doing that. So, but like I said, yeah, good conversations, dude. And you guys can act like you talk about stuff. And there's theories I heard from y'all tonight that I've never heard before. So
Nice.
it's always good. Have new
Glad we
conversations.
can exchange some new ideas. Then that's what we're aiming to do here on Fridays. So Nick's again magically. You almost look like one of those little. Maybe it's because I've had a little bit too much pot myself this evening. You almost look like one of those little Pac-Man creatures with that hood on like that. You know, little Pac-Man ghosts.
Yo,
What are
that's
they-
great.
Dude, this before we get out of here,
Gross.
the
That's
symbolism in that show with the fucking moon and what
With Pac-Man,
dude. Yeah, dude.
a Colt Pac-Man. All right, I
Occult
like it.
Pac-Man. We can get into that sometime.
Oh shit.
We'll have to save that for the next one. I like it though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, Jules. Nick, thank you. You got any plugs? What do you got working on?
Oh, I got you know what I got coming out soon? Actually, really, really good show. It was the Homunculus with one-on-one. That was me, Jin, and Headless.
Oh,
That's actually coming
quite
out
a lineup.
soon. Yeah, and I got Spider and Scorpion symbolism coming out soon too. Fun fact, I meant to say it before, the Scorpion, believe it or not, its whole shell is a retina. It actually sees with its whole fucking shell.
Wow.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to do this. I'm not doing a Roman. I'm meeting the fans halfway here with this. This symbol of Earth, when it comes to occult, symbolism, there is certain, for every element, there is like air. This would be air. This would be water. There's certain symbols that you can do for certain elements. Now, if I wanted to make the symbol for Earth, I would take my left hand and push it back a little bit and take my right hand and put it up like that. That is the symbol of earth in magic. So I met you halfway there. I did what you wanted me to do, but
I'm talking Roman salutes.
Bobby is real
no,
happy.
but I'm just putting it out there too that is an occult symbol. Putting your hand up like that is representing something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
All right, yeah, and the Occult Rejects, it's available on all major podcasts, BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube. And thank you very much, JJ. Had a great time tonight.
No, as always, I appreciate your time there, Nick. Jules, again, we'll look forward to another conversation in the future. And folks of the interwebs, thanks for joining us here for Fridays.
Well, that's it. That's the show here, folks. So the next time you're out on the town, visiting your local watering holes, or perhaps just meandering around, and you hear the unmistakable sounds of metal clanking, and you spot signs of a disturbance, but check your six. Look in that garbage can, 'cause you never can tell. The GCDs may be loose in your town.